Hey friends, happy Friday. We made it. Justin here with a review of the BBC Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the Chronicles of Narnia. Um, it's got to be 30 years this film came out. So anyway, lots for us to talk about. It's been a crazy, kind of busy week for me here. I've been following I'm personally a financial consultant, so I've been, following the stock market trends. Um, Jumped in a little bit with AMC and have been with Tesla going up and down on a ride. So it's been really interesting. It's been an interesting work week, an interesting investing week, an interesting news week. So in my spare time, when I was really relaxing, it was really nice to watch something that was just so cozy. Um, the opening of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the BBC version, is just so quaint. It opens up like if you've ever seen way back in the day the PBS show Brian Jock Redwall. Um, it puts me in that vibe, that Arthurian vibe, right away. With the music and the animation, the way that they open the credits. The real major downside to this is that it's split up in such an episodic way that it's not a full movie. That was really um, a downer, especially when watching it back today. But I can just imagine, in the 80s when this first came out, lovers of Narnia like me, I'm truly obsessed. To have something to look forward to each week or however often, this played on the BBC, it had to just be revolutionary, to see it in live action. And then there's quality behind it. Anytime a serious source does fantasy or child, really fantasy or child films, they tend to do it right. HBO tackling his Dark Materials, BBC with Narnia, and I've heard their renditions of Lord of the Rings, radio dramas, and things like that. There's an extra layer of care. So anyway, we open up, we're headed to the countryside to Professor Diggory's English estate. Um, Very whimsical. You want to spend time in the countryside. I love that there is care and attention given to the reality, to England, as well as, the fantasy. So we get to the estate. It really is, it's worth a watch for the castle, not the castle, but the estate in and of itself. It's kind of a time capsule now of British living. Um, Even so much as, what they had in the 80s versus, modern living. It's really interesting to see the style of dress. And so I enjoyed it. I got lost just looking around the, Professor Diggory's home. And and then Lucy, who is the original Lucy to me, for many of us. I grew up with Lucy Pevensey, being played by this actress. And, they get off to, their games right away, hide and seek. They're hiding around the manor, and Lucy stumbles onto the wardrobe. I'd say the first half of this is really well done. It's kind of beautifully done. And then as the film goes on, it seems like they kind of ran out of steam, or the budget was lacking, and some of the animation doesn't age well. But if you want a fun, cozy, BBC show to watch on a Saturday afternoon, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, is a good one. I thought Barbara Kellerman as the White Witch, as Jadis, I thought she did a really good job. You could tell that there was research there Jadis is my absolute favorite character in the whole Narnia multiverse, and I can really wax poetic about, Narnia for quite a while, just as well as I can, Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings. But, Jadis has always been such an interesting character to me. The implications, that she comes from Charn, and all the implications of these other lands, that have histories and rises and falls. I just think her story is an interesting one. She starts as Jadis, then becomes the White Witch, and then ultimately the Lady of the Green Kirtle. But anyway, so I thought she was really effective, very creepy. The beavers are kind of disappointing, the way that they're costumed. It's kind of unfortunate. And Mogram, the way that they do the captain of the White Witch's secret police, it's just unfortunate based on, the technology of the time, what they had. But the effort was there, the heart was there. And unfortunately, it just doesn't age well. I wish they had just kind of stuck with live action. I think that would have been a lot more effective. I thought when they finally got all the way to Aslan, I thought, he was done okay. There were some parts where I was, I felt that he was a little bit lacking. But, I wasn't thrilled with the Liam Neeson reincarnation. Really, really underwhelmed with the reincarnation of the series. And it was they had such an opportunity to make the next, Lord of the Rings. And Narnia is a multiverse, but we'll get there in a minute. This is one of my favorites. They went on to make many of the others through BBC as well in an episodic version. But I think this one has the most quality to it. It's not actually my favorite Narnia story, but it actually has the most quality to it. So it's a good Saturday afternoon movie. Get a nice snack and what have you, and settle in, wrap a blanket around you, and just enjoy. It's very whimsical. It's very childish, but I think you'll get some enjoyment out of it. Have you guys ever watched the BBC version of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? How do you think it compares to the reincarnations that we got in the early 2000s? What I was saying is, the Lord of the Rings had come out in 99 and 2000, and so there was such an appetite for a continuation, and it's interesting because Tolkien and C.S. Lewis were they wrote together, I think, in the Inklings in their writing group at Oxford, and so it was just interesting, that was the next major franchise that launched, and it was just done, I guess, with the wrong people. It was done with without the heart that was necessary to get it done. Liam Neeson, I thought he could have done a good Aslan. I thought he did do a good Aslan, but I don't know. I was really, really underwhelmed. I enjoyed the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Growing up was always the most exciting story to me, or the most thrilling story to me, because you got to go to so many different lands and different places. And so I enjoyed the movie, but we've yet to see a good iteration of the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. The Horse and His Boy is one of my absolute favorites that I read over and over again. That would be fabulous to see recreated. And finally, one I go back to over and over that really inspired me to do this is The Magician's Nephew. I would love to see that the story of Jadis explored. I mean, there's so many shows that you could create. Just like this Lord of the Rings is based on Numenor, in Narnia you've got the Lone Islands. There was a thriving community that had a slave market and all these different dynamics. Right there, that series of 3 islands, the Lone Islands. And so that's interesting. You've got all of the Ramandu's Island. You've got so many places to go where the Dufflepuds were. But then you've also got the different multiverses that were a part of the Wood Between the Worlds. Jadis, when she's talking about, I stood here when, at the end of Charn, she says, like Felamath, like Galinda, like these different realms. And so there's, an infinite possibility, an infinite, things that they could cover. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. But as you can tell, I really, really love the Chronicles of Narnia. This is a really fun one. It's really whimsical. If you have kids, it's a fun one to sit down, with a small child and watch. Older kids won't appreciate it, a really small child, because older kids are so oversaturated with so much technology. I don't think it you can appreciate it. But I was one of those kids in school. All you had to do was turn the lights down and turn a video on, and the quality didn't matter to me. I just enjoyed. And this is one of those classroom type films that, I don't know, just always became a classic to me and was always a favorite. So anyways, guys, what's your favorite part about this BBC Narnia film? For me, it's Barbara Kellerman as the White Witch. What's your favorite? Are there any other renditions of Narnia or The Lord of the Rings that you think are interesting and want to talk about? Share that with me below, if you will. Anyway, guys, have a great, great weekend. I really appreciate you for hanging out with me and talking about Narnia for a few minutes. And I'll catch you guys soon in the next video. Take care. Cheers.